Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Film Frat Podcast, episode 8.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us today. We got a little lineup, little something light, something fun. There's a bunch of stuff we've watched that we want to talk about. Some are controversial. There's stuff happening in the film world.
Yeah, lots going on.
A lot's going on. Real quick, right? I know one of the first things on the itinerary, Little Mermaid.
Yep.
Right? Is that something you watch? I wasn't able to catch it.
Yeah.
But I know you saw it, you and Mackenzie, right?
Yeah, we went and saw it. And honestly, bro, I liked it because, Disney does a lot of live action stuff now they just kind of revamp old stuff. They had the Jungle Book, which I thought was pretty solid.
They have Jungle Book. Before that, even a couple years ago, they had Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, didn't see that one.
Lion King. Which
heard not great things about that one. Yeah. So I guess they're kind of hit and miss. And Little Mermaid, I hadn't seen Little Mermaid in a long time. I watched it as a kid, but I didn't really remember the story all that well.
Right.
But when I was watching her act, I didn't feel like I had to go back and watch the animated version because I was like, no, that's exactly how Ariel was in the animated version. She did such a good job capturing her mannerisms and the way she looks and her eyes even. She did a really good job, honestly, bro. And her voice was amazing.
So is it Halle Bailey or Haley Bailey?
Yeah, I think it's Halle Bailey. That's
shout out to her. So she did an amazing job.
She did an amazing job.
Real quick, how were the effects? All the underwater stuff.
It was a lot of underwater stuff. I mean, it looked good. It didn't distract me or anything. I didn't. There was a couple things, for example, Flounder, her friend Flounder.
Yeah.
He looked like the most generic fish that you would ever find in the ocean. He could have been any fish. And it was just he had no personality in his animation. Yeah. That was one of the gripes maybe I had with it.
So a little off?
Yeah, he didn't add anything to the movie. I don't feel like this time, which I remember in the animated version, at least this is how I remember it. Mm-hmm. He would kind of played a big part, but
for sure.
In this one, he didn't do much. But other than him, all the animated characters were good, and I think they had good voice actors. Mm-hmm. I will say the prince didn't hold up to Ariel.
Okay, in what way?
She just overshined him, honestly.
For sure.
She just overshined him. Her voice is just so angelic and good, bro. She has an amazing voice. She did a live performance of one of the songs from Part of Your World.
Okay.
She did a live performance of it, and dude, it blew me away how good she is. So she just kind of carried a little bit.
Yeah.
When it came to the singing, and the dude did a good job acting, good enough job, but she definitely she carried it. And Ursula.
Yes, so Melissa McCarthy. Mm-hmm. How was that?
She was good, bro. I wish she would have got a little more screen time, a little bit more, but she did it. She's definitely a memorable character.
For sure.
I would say best animated to live action adaptations, even though this wasn't live action, it's Jack Black as Bowser and her as Ursula. So, good casting this year for those two characters.
Okay,
sure.
Would you say it's a must-watch? I mean, I'll probably check it out.
I wouldn't say it's a must-watch. I mean, those live-action ones are always... They kind of have that cash grab feel to them a little bit, where they're just revamping something old. But I wouldn't say it's the worst one out of the ones that have come out. I think it's definitely out of the ones that have come out. I would say it's worth a watch just for her performance.
For sure,
I think she did even though Ariel doesn't talk as much in the story as I remember because she loses her voice. I didn't remember she lost her voice.
Yeah,
that's such a big part of the story, and I forgot about that. But she her mannerisms are like Ariel. She really does remind me exactly of Ariel. So she did a good job, I think.
That's good. Good. So I mean, from these past live actions, you say you don't watch Lion King.
I didn't see Lion King.
You saw Beauty and the Beast? I
didn't see Beauty and the Beast, but I saw Jungle Book.
What about Aladdin?
That one was solid. Aladdin, I didn't see that one.
You didn't watch that one either?
No. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I've seen all those. And probably my favorite was Beauty and the Beast.
Okay, yeah.
Aladdin was kind of mid, but it had Will Smith as Genie, which is cool. So I definitely got to catch this one, but I mean, so far
I think it's probably a solid installment among them. Like I said, I haven't seen a bunch of them, but I thought Jungle Book was pretty solid, and I liked this one definitely enough. I thought it was worth a watch for sure. So
yeah, that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm glad I saw it.
Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch it. So aside from that, going into like, you know, there's been a lot of talks about like DC and, you know, the DCU, is that what they call it? Kind of the competitor to MCU.
Right.
I think that's what they might call it. Don't come at me, right? Or DCEU or something crazy. But there's been a lot of controversy there with movies being dropped, you know, titles being dropped, actors being dropped, being recasted. But one of the projects that did survive, Flash, right, is something you watched.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just saw it recently.
And it was a little anticipated. There was a lot of noise about it, but I know you have your opinions on the film.
Yeah, honestly, I wasn't really excited to see it necessarily, just because of, you know, reasons with the main actor that we won't get into. But yeah, you know, just the fact that it came out with him. But anyway, we won't get into that. But
Sure.
Anyway, the story itself and like DC movies, they kind of never really hit a bunch for me. Like, I didn't love Justice League. I didn't really like Batman vs Superman that much.
I don't think many people did.
Yeah, so they just like don't do it as well, I feel like, as MCU. But James Gunn is running it now.
Right, yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
I did see that.
James Gunn is running DC, so...
Was he there prior to The Flash, or is he now, like, afterwards?
I want to say Flash is the first movie released since he's been there,
Since he's been there.
Since he's been running it. So, because director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right, yep.
So I think maybe they got a better, you know, person in charge over there, kind of
oversee
everything. Because Flash was pretty solid, bro. Like,
okay.
Honestly.
So what was... Sorry, not to interrupt you, but what was the plot, really?
So the plot is... it's a pretty interesting plot. So this is totally spoilers, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Spoilers. Please skip ahead.
Yeah. But so he is... he's alone. You know, he's kind of like living this lonely life. And he's trying to get his dad out of trouble. Okay. His dad has been not framed, but he is in trial for murdering his mom. Wow. Yeah. Okay. They think that his dad murdered his mom. So Flash's main purpose and goal of this movie in the beginning is to get his dad, you know, free his dad, basically. For sure. Find evidence to prove his dad is innocent. And so, you know, he's doing all this. He's trying to figure it out, and it's not really going his way. And he kind of comes up with the idea at some point that, because he's time traveled before. Oh, he has. Just by pure speed and stuff. And he's like, well, if I've time traveled before, I could probably go to the past and save my mom before she died. So the whole thing is he goes back, and the whole reason she passes away is because she had to go back out and get tomatoes. Like, so she had to get tomatoes. She had to get tomatoes. Okay. So she remembered to put the tomatoes in her cart this time. So, but then that activates a whole new timeline, a whole new universe, whole new dynamic. So it's kind of like a butterfly effect. The second you impact something, there's a new branch of time. Exactly. And when he doesn't, from when he takes, like, messes with the timeline, he doesn't come back to the present. He gets pushed out to right when he gets his powers, when he's like 18. So there's two flashes. Okay. The whole movie. He's interacting with himself the entire movie, which is pretty impressive. Okay, honestly. That's dope. It's a pretty cool movie. Same actor, yeah. Him as 18 and and he is funny, bro. Okay. Like, I gotta give it to him. He did a good job in the movie. But so there's this whole timeline, and so like all of the superheroes from the world that he's from, the universe he's from, they're different people now. For example, not Ben Affleck Batman, George Clooney Batman. No way. And there's that actually is a reveal at the very end. So that was a spoiler for the very end. But, okay. But that's the idea that like all these people are different people now. So like Batman is now, I should not be forgetting his name, but the old Batman from like Batman and Robin, Michael Caine. Is it Michael Keaton? Keaton? Michael Keaton. Who played Vulture? Was it in MCU? Right. Yeah. So he's Batman in this one. Yeah. And he's older and stuff. Like, he's kind of been through it. He's at the end of his career, kind of, but he's helping Flash try to get back to his timeline and stuff like that. So it's pretty intricate. Like, it's good, bro. It's pretty good. Like, it's definitely the first DC movie in a while where I was like, dang, I think this topped any Marvel movie I've seen for the last like 2 or 3 years. For maybe. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Even Guardians? Dude, it felt different. Yeah, it just felt different than a Marvel movie. Like, it felt a little more like in the real world, I
For
guess.
sure. Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it felt a little more like tied to like society and like I don't know how to explain it exactly.
It wasn't as much fantasy, but more so grounded to real world.
Yeah, and it felt like you really felt the life that these like Flash lives outside of being Flash. Like, as
For sure.
human. Like, you do get the idea of that in the Marvel movies, but I don't know. There was a different layer to it. I liked it. There was like a different layer to it than I'm used to in superhero movies. So,
right. So what is the main threat really in this? Who's the main antagonist? Like, what's the main threat?
So that's the interesting thing. It really isn't like a main threat. I want to say there's a main villain.
Okay.
But the person that is in this timeline kind of the threat of ruining everything that he's trying to get back to is what's from the first Superman? What's the villain's name from the first Superman? Like he's from he's like the main villain. Like it starts with a Z, I want to say.
Okay, let me look it up.
Like
so
that.
Go ahead.
But he's in this. So I'm pretty sure Superman had killed him back in the old other movie.
And which one? Like
in the first like Man of Steel.
Man of Steel.
Yeah. I want to say so, but he's back now and he's doing the same thing. That's another thing. There's a new Superman in this timeline.
General Druzod?
Yeah.
Yes.
Zod. General Zod, right? Yeah. So Zod's back in this movie, and he's like, again, trying to take over the world and find Superman, but he's not trying to find actual Superman. It's a girl in this universe that is the Superman, so Superwoman, and it's all these different kind of things that go on, bro. So it was like, as much as it sounds like there was a ton of stuff going on, it tied well together, and I definitely think it was a little more different of a superhero movie than I've seen in a while.
For sure. It was a lot of like interpersonal conflicts, conflicts with, mentality maybe even. So was there a lot of action?
Yeah. And the action's really cool too. Like it's good, bro. Like honestly, it's good. It's the first DC movie I've been pretty excited for, honestly.
Yeah.
So it is unfortunate it had to be like a superhero that they'll probably have to find a new actor for it at some point.
You think so?
That's what they've already started talking about.
Yeah.
But it was good though. I'm excited where they're going with the DC movies, I think.
Yeah, with the whole universe. I mean, what's coming next, really? I'm not very familiar with the DC timeline as of right now.
I'm not either, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't really know that timeline just because I don't really keep up on it because I'm never really super excited for their movies. But I don't know. I'll start looking into them for sure.
Yeah. So Flash overall, I mean,
I was glad I saw it. Yeah, definitely. If you're a DC fan, I think it's one of the better installments in DC in a while that I've seen for sure. So yeah, definitely. I was glad I saw it for sure. Yeah. But going into some other blockbuster movies.
Yeah, a lot of blockbusters.
So many blockbusters.
So,
dude, 2023 has been a crazy blockbuster.
They've been spending a lot of money.
A lot of money, bro.
But yeah, I mean, what else? Like Transformers. We watched Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, right? I was pretty excited just because I loved the original Michael Bay, right?
Yeah,
and Shia LaBeouf. Same with Wiki. You got Megan Fox and stuff like that. So going into this film, I had the anticipation that it was hopefully going to be similar to those. It really wasn't in a sense. I had my own gripes with it, but the story was cool. I really liked the main character. His name was Noah, right? Of Hispanic descent and stuff. So it's just the way, kind of like his personality and the way it clashed, especially with like his little brother, kind of the little nuances with the humor and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah, they had a good dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the way they introduced the Transformers, because it's supposed to be a Beasts, right? Rise of the Beasts film. Did it feel like that to you?
No.
Not at all, right? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I was expecting it to really be, revolving around like Optimal Prime, right? And kind of the cast that he rolls with. It did start like that originally. They were on their planet.
I kind of liked the opening.
Yeah, I did too. And I was, thinking that's how it was going to continue throughout. But flash forward, they travel to Earth. Yeah. And then next thing you know, it's just another human interaction Transformer film. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee. You had who was Pete Davidson's Autobot? Mirage, which he was quirky in his own way. I mean, what'd you think of the experience of this film, I guess, compared to the other ones? Did you have that kind of going into this?
I didn't know what to expect really because I haven't seen a Transformers movie since the third one. Okay. They kind of started, I don't know, after Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox weren't in them, I just wasn't I wasn't into them as much.
What was that, Dark of the Moon maybe?
Yeah, I think that
because it was Revenge of the Fallen to Dark of the Moon 3, and then it went like Mark Wahlberg.
Right.
All of a sudden.
I haven't seen any of those ones.
Okay.
Or Bumblebee, which Rise of the Beast is connected to Bumblebee, correct?
Yes. Okay. So Bumblebee was a prequel to this one.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Okay. So, yeah, I didn't really have like expectations really because I hadn't seen them in so long. I do remember liking the original ones a lot. Like when I was a kid, those were like probably one of the first new Blockbuster movies that came out I went and saw in theaters, and I was like, oh man, this is pretty mesmerizing. Like the CGI of all the animation of transforming and stuff, it was pretty sick. It was like so sick. So I was excited to just see that again, you know, and it had been so long since I'd seen that on the big screen, but it definitely feels a little more cartoony to me than it used to.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah, and we were kind of mentioning this after we watched the movie, that the transforming, like the I guess the beauty of the transforming and like all the mechanics and all the gears and all the CGI that went into that made it so cool. I felt like in the first few, you didn't really see in this one. Like,
dude, no.
An example, when Optimus Prime first transforms, he walks in front of a truck and you see none of the transformation, and he just walks out the other side all transform, and you're like,
now he's robot.
You're like, okay, like, bro.
Because I don't know if you remember in the first ever Shia LaBeouf film, you had the helicopter who came in. They didn't know it was an unidentified helicopter that landed on a base, and it started transforming. It was like a 30-second sequence of all these moving parts, these contraptions, every single thing on the helicopter transforming into this robot.
Dude, yeah.
The detail that went into that is something I was hoping to see in this film, which again we really didn't see. So that kind of drew me off a little bit. But what'd you think of the cast?
I liked Noah Diaz's character.
Yeah,
I thought he was a cool character, and like you said, his brother,
Savage.
I kind of he was. He was a good actor. His brother, who was a really good actor. But I liked so it's not really the dynamic, I don't even remember what Shia LaBeouf's name was.
What, Sam Witwicky?
Sam. So Sam and Bumblebee was kind of like the dynamic duo in those ones, and now it's kind of like Noah and Mirage is kind of like the dynamic duo. So you kind of get to see how they're introduced to each other. And I did like that. I liked the difference in the stories of like he's trying to steal a car.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that.
And it happens to be a transformer, and like Mirage happens to get a call at the same time. So I like that. I thought it flowed well, and there was a cool chase scene too where you see Noah like in the chair, and he does like a full 360 where Mirage is transforming. So it did have some details. It wasn't as detailed nearly as the other movies, but there was still some stuff that was like crowd pleasing and stuff. But I like Noah Diaz's character. I liked him.
Absolutely. And you liked Mirage?
I liked Mirage.
Yeah. At first I didn't know it was Pete Davidson.
I didn't either.
It come to find after we watched the film, I'm like, that kind of makes sense. There's times where it seemed as though his humor might have even been improv. There's sometimes I feel as though like he even caught himself saying like, wow, that was kind of cheesy. Like the second he would say something, So I feel like he definitely kind of inputted his own personality into it, which is cool.
Definitely.
Optimus Prime was just Optimus Prime. But at first, he really wasn't siding with the humans,
No, it was kind of a different Optimus. Because when does this movie take place? So
90-something, late 90s.
So this was before Shia LaBeouf would have met Optimus Prime, right? Is that correct?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. So, because Optimus Prime was a little more like he's kind of like peace and love, like this almost like God type figure, kind of transformer. But in this one, he was a little more like... I don't know, rough around the edges a little bit. Yeah,
it seemed like he was nervous, didn't have the trust with the humans. Like, like the Optimus Prime we knew from like the Sam movies. But it seemed like towards the end, he definitely kind of, had a, soft spot. I kind of came to and had some trust in the humans. In terms of the story, I mean, I don't know if I was too fascinated or too intrigued with kind of the plot of the film. There's this artifact that had a missing key.
Yeah.
What were the villains called?
They were not Decepticons. They were I forget what they were called.
Oh yeah, I forget.
He was a kind of cool villain though.
Yeah, but then you had this huge monster-eating entity that was going to consume Earth and stuff, or wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. So, the plot was pretty much like I don't know, maybe like a cat and mouse thing where, they had this piece that's like, well, we got to go here, and then, they get followed, and, I don't know, I just wasn't too interested with the story. It was pretty boring.
They had half of a key and they needed the other half.
Exactly.
And the villains are following them as they try to find it, so it's easier for them to find it.
For sure.
Like, it's pretty basic. It's a pretty basic concept, and that's what kind of felt cartoony about it to me. Maybe is that it didn't really, other than like the visuals. Some of the visuals were kind of cartoony, maybe too. Yeah. But the story itself, I felt, also was kind of cartoony, like it was so basic to me. Just like,
no, absolutely,
you have half the key and you're trying to find the other half, and there's villains chasing you. The end.
But we're definitely going to get a continuation of this film, because spoiler alert, at the very ending we find a reveal where Noah goes, where does he go to again? He or who does he get approached by? This like general, right? Come to find out, he's working for the G.I. Joe, kind of organization. So now we have a G.I. Joe and Transformers collaboration, so now we have these two like toy brands coming together to make this one full-fledged story, which I was not expecting at all. Like, that threw me off so much.
That like added to that cartoon effect, bro, where I was like, okay, these are these have gone a different direction than I remember.
But there have been Transformer G.I. Joe collaborations in the past. There have been back in, like, I think even in the 90s and stuff like that.
Like
but
the cartoons and
correct,
stuff? Okay.
So I don't know where it's going to lead to. So now you have Bumblebee, you have this one, and now it's going to transition into like a G.I. Joe Transformers collaboration. So I'm really curious to see what that looks like.
Me too.
And, I don't know.
It's like everyone's trying to have their own multiverse or universe or whatever, and like where they can bring all of their entities to one big movie to make it, kind of like just this conglomerate kind of thing where it's kind of become a brand, or not a brand, but a machine in a way, a little bit.
So with Indiana Jones 5, right, something we've kind of talked about already a little bit, the anticipation for it. You're a huge Indy fan.
Yeah, dude.
You know, so you know your stuff. We knew this one, with the release of this one, he's going to be older. So we were kind of curious. We saw some CG, through the trailer. What was it like? I mean, I know, like, you were mentioning, we had a prior conversation about, like, the first 20 minutes of the film compared to, like, the rest of the film and stuff. So what'd you think overall?
So, going into Indiana Jones 5, Dial of Destiny. I didn't have, like, crazy expectations, obviously.
Okay.
Harrison Ford is 80 years old
Dude,
now.
that is still crazy to me.
So
he's up there.
I didn't expect him to be moving around much by any means or anything like that, but they opened the movie pretty cool, though. Yeah. They opened it with the CGI sequence of Harrison Ford younger, Indiana Jones young Indiana Jones on a mission to get this treasure on a train full of Nazis, of course.
Right.
And he's got a buddy on the train, too, that he's also trying to save, which ties into the rest of the film.
Okay.
This is a good buddy that he is also... His buddy's daughter is Indiana Jones' goddaughter, who plays a big role in Dial of Destiny.
I see.
So that kind of sets up the goddaughter thing throughout the film.
Okay.
But the sequence at the beginning, he's on this train trying to get this treasure. He's chased by all these Nazis. It's a really cool sequence. It really actually, like, I was like, dang, this is like bringing me back to like old Indiana Jones. Like, the CGI looked good enough where it wasn't like distracting or anything. You could tell sometimes, and it was kind of weird because it had Harrison Ford's like old voice.
So older raspy voice.
Yeah, very raspy voice for a young looking Indiana Jones, which was you could tell.
Do you think that was on purpose? I'm sure they would have taken that into consideration, right?
I thought they would have, but when I was watching it, I was like, I didn't feel like they did.
Yeah, right.
But so that was a little more distracting than the CGI to me, honestly.
Okay, the voice.
Yeah, but the sequence was cool, and it was a good sequence, and it really did kind of bring me back to the old Indiana Jones movies. And then from there, that sets up that they have half this treasure.
Okay.
They need to go find this other half later in the film. So flash forward from that sequence, Indiana Jones is 80 years old. He's still a professor. He's about to retire, and he's kind of just like, he's kind of old. Like, you know, he lost his wife is not really talking to him. They lost their son, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
Died in war.
Yeah.
He went to, so they kind of like, a lot of things they set up in the fourth one, Crystal Skull, they kind of like took back in this one just because it's been so much time since that one, and they don't have Shia LaBeouf anymore. So it's, it was good. Like, I liked it, honestly, for what it was. I had really low expectations, so I had fun with the movie.
Okay.
And I thought his goddaughter, I don't know the actress's name, but I thought she was fun, and she was a fun character. She wasn't like trying to befriend Indiana Jones, which I thought was going to be like the story. She actually was like, kind of had a little bit of animosity towards him. I see.
Interesting.
Which I didn't expect.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. I thought that dynamic, some people thought it was just kind of like, I heard that it was like Indiana Jones being old, and he just like, his goddaughter's just kind of annoying him the whole time. Like, it's just a grumpy Indiana Jones. I didn't really get that vibe. I thought it was good enough, honestly.
Yeah.
Again, though, I don't know if it needed to happen necessarily. Like, it's very similar to the Transformers storyline, a Blockbuster storyline.
So in what way?
Where you have half a treasure, and then you have bad guys chasing you, and they're just trying to chase you and wait till you find the other half so they can just take it from you.
They just come in and swoop.
Exactly. Yeah. Same exact thing. Wow. So very reminiscent of the Transformers storyline, and so there's not a lot of beef to the story, really, I guess. For sure. A little bit more than Transformers, because, you know, there's his wife, that's kind of a storyline.
There's more layers, for sure.
There's more layers, and I think it was pretty good. I really, like, had low expectations. So, so I was satisfied, but I know a lot of people are kind of just like, this didn't need to happen, and I definitely see that side of it too. Yeah. I mean, Indiana Jones is a young, you know, adventurer kind of persona. Yeah. So to see him like this, it's different.
So I'm curious now. For some reason, I have an idea in my head that they're going to continue the Indiana Jones films, but now using his goddaughter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? For some reason, I'm getting that feel where it's going to be a spin-off, same universe, but now she takes, you know, the mantle. She takes the torch and she runs with it. So she did a good performance. Yeah. So maybe she does. She was
good. And that's kind of the vibe I got from it, was that she might take, you know, over the movies a little bit. It might be her movies going forward. For sure. And I wouldn't mind. She did a really good job. I actually really liked her in the movie. So
okay, so now updating your list on Indiana Jones rankings.
Yeah, I'd say this one. I honestly would say this one is a little bit better than Crystal Skull to me.
Okay, because I remember
it's been a long time since I've seen Crystal Skull.
Yeah, because I remember initially you put that at the very bottom. Yeah, right. So now it goes Crystal Skull at the bottom, Dial of Destiny. Yeah, and then from there,
then it would go 3, 1, 2. Okay. So yeah. So
the Temple of Doom. Temple of Doom.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yep. And then Last Crusade, Crystal Skull. Oh no, sorry. Dial of Destiny, then Crystal Skull. Yeah.
Sick, bro. Yeah. How long was the movie anyway? Wasn't it like a longer
It had to be over 2 hours, I would say. Yeah. So another decently long blockbuster runtime. It didn't feel too lengthy. But yeah, I don't know. It was definitely another revamped movie, you know. So yeah, I don't know. It's and I heard it had a huge budget too, and didn't do too well at the box office, which has kind of been the case with a lot of summer movies apparently this year. All right, so I got this article pulled up from Screen Rant, and it has some like kind of interesting facts and just like details about movies this year. Okay. On summer blockbusters kind of flopping, big budget ones specifically.
What's crazy, before you finish that point, something we mentioned earlier, like, dude, there's a lot of movies coming out this year. Blockbusters too.
Oh my gosh, this has got to be like one of the, in my remembrance, this has got to be one of the most jam-packed blockbuster.
It's like, heavy set, right?
Yeah, seriously. So a lot of blockbuster, big budget films coming out, and a lot of them not doing as well as the studios necessarily want them to at the box office, apparently. So from Screen Rant, it says, there have been many big movies flopping in 2023, but when looking at these films, few can be deemed as injustices. Okay. For example, The Little Mermaid is another live-action remake of an animated classic from Disney Renaissance era, which some may see as unnecessary, or at least not a necessity to see in theaters. Fast X is the 11th movie in the Fast and Furious franchise, so viewers may feel like they need to have watched all previous films or might have dropped interest somewhere along the way. Currently, The Flash is a historic box office bomb, but that can be explained by the behind-the-scenes controversy and bad CGI. Is what their opinion is.
That's not your opinion.
I didn't think the CGI was that bad, but and then continuing that, it says the films that have turned out to be the most profitable in 2023 have, for the most part, actually deserved to be named box office successes. Again, this is just opinions. Audiences have rewarded the original in Megan and Cocaine Bear, the fun films made for all ages like Super Mario Bros. Movie, and the genuinely very good movies such as Puss in Boots 2. The box office this year has been unpredictable in many ways, but the best indicator of success appears to be in quality. And that's coming from Screen Rant.
Because prior to all this, I had the idea that the most successful films were ones that are already well known. Either you know, bringing back an old series, going off of something that already exists, like from a book or a TV show, like, you know, names that are already known that audiences get, you know, can kind of connect to, make them want to go to the cinema to go watch. But now, based on this article and what we've been seeing, it seems as though like originals are now kind of drawing in more audience than these huge blockbuster, you know, films.
Why do you think that is?
I honestly don't know. I seriously, I mean, one thing that came to mind was like a lot of people maybe are just wanting to be more comfortable at home and watch these on streaming platforms.
Definitely,
you know, like every single thing has a streaming platform now. Disney Plus, Paramount, HBO, you know, Hulu, like that's crazy.
And a lot of these movies that come out in theaters come out on those streaming services like, a couple weeks later.
Literally, like before you'd have to wait 2 months and then it'd come out on Blu-ray, DVD, maybe even 3 months later, because they really wanted to prolong the length of, you know, when the film was in theaters. But now, like you're mentioning, like 2 weeks in, like
because it's kind of like, it feels like these blockbuster movies that you're used to, like all these people are used to wait in line to go see and stuff like that. People are kind of comfortable waiting to see them on streaming now because it's like maybe it's just not worth paying the money to go see in theaters anymore.
I mean, if you're paying like let's say $20 a month for like Paramount, you can just wait and you have access to all these things as opposed to a $15-$16 ticket at a theater, you know.
And I think there is to point out the quality aspect of it. I mean, you're not seeing original stuff all that much in theaters anymore, and I like to reward the stuff that is original personally because there's just like, I mean, for example, Indiana Jones, those came out in the 80s, bro. Like the first ones came out in the 80s, I want to say. So it's kind of like we're still going back to Indiana Jones. Like we don't have any new adventurers to tell stories about. We don't have any new stories, like any new characters. Like the original content feels like it all came from like the 70s and 80s, and we're still just like squeezing as much out of those as we can instead of just taking the time to make new stories.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. And so like with rewarding new, fresh, creative ideas, I feel like after this summer, based on all these numbers, I think that'll shift now. I feel like those, you know, known IPs will kind of fade away, maybe go straight to platform. And then hopefully these newer, you know, brand new stories, for example, like Oppenheimer, stuff like that will, you know, kind of get more of the traction.
Yeah, because I mean, what they're saying is like the money, putting more money into a movie doesn't mean it's going to make you more money anymore.
Exactly. Like you put in 550 mil on a budget and you only make, let's say, 700 mil. Is it even really worth it afterwards? Because how much are they profiting? What's the net profit?
You look at the margins, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's impressive they're putting all this money into a movie, but if it's like, if you can make more money putting, you know, a couple million into a movie and then it does, you know, 100 million.
Exactly.
You know, that's how I would like to do it. I'd rather do it like that. Sounds less stressful too.
Yeah. So quick economy lesson for you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But no, it's a valid point. And we were mentioning, huge year for blockbusters, and we're not even done yet. We're only halfway through the year, and we have a crazy amount of stuff coming up that we'll get to. We'll talk
a lot of the middle of the summer has been revamped stuff. It seems like more original stuff is coming on these later months, which is cool to see.
So I mean, I'm still gonna go watch these, you know, films. You know, I don't really like to watch them on the streaming services. I do prefer to go to the theaters.
Sure, yeah.
But I mean, the stuff that I do prefer to watch on the streaming services would be like, I don't know, anime or like, you know, TV shows. Like, for example, Demon Slayer, which I really want to talk about. We just finished a couple weeks ago, season 3 of Demon Slayer. If you guys haven't been caught up, it's a brand new arc. It's the Swordsmith Village arc. That's kind of a mouthful.
Yeah, that one's hard.
But it literally takes place like right after the second arc where they were in the entertainment district, which was a phenomenal season. So season 2 was amazing. It probably is, in my opinion. We'll rank them later, but that one's really good. Season 3, however, there is what I've been reading online too, which I kind of can agree with my opinion, is there's a lot of controversy in terms of, you know, the quality and story has maybe dropped a little. I don't know if that's because they're trying to rush, you know, everything into these seasons, because the manga's over. Okay. So
is it?
The manga's over. Yeah. So Demon Slayer has ended.
Gotcha.
So those who have read the manga know what happens. So I don't know if it's, you know, pacing issue, but the season 3 seemed to really fall a little bit in terms of quality story wise. The production and, you know, visuals were amazing, right? But as you know, when we were watching this, Tanjiro, beloved Tanjiro, shows up to the village where they actually make the swords, right? And he's accompanied by his sister. Yeah,
Tanjiro, notorious for breaking his swords.
He's very notorious. So now he actually goes, he can now have the ability to go meet the people that make his swords because he breaks them so much. But I mean, we're introduced to a lot in the season and a lot happens. So real quick, what's this season about? Like, what's going on?
Well, so this goes right from the second season, right?
Yeah.
So Tanjiro, he's in recovery. He's kind of like there's always a recovery stage after his last fight and stuff like that. Yeah, they get beat up.
I'm surprised he survived.
Yeah, seriously.
It's crazy.
Seriously. But going into this one, he's in recovery mode. You know, kind of like his wounds. You know, mending his wounds and stuff. But how did it like introduce the villains into this? I'm trying to think back to how did like the demons kind of get
right,
because the first episode was really telling of this season.
It was insane. So it basically started with a meeting that Muzan, the main demon, has with his upper ranked moons, right?
Which is the first time we've seen all the upper ranks together.
You see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Because 6 died in season 2, right? Gyutaro, I think it was the siblings. So they died.
They were great.
They were amazing, by the way. And their backstories.
Oh man, their backstories are so like heartstring,
right? Which is an issue we had with the demons
season 3,
which we'll get to. But so they're in this meeting, and Muzan is pissed off. He is upset because he created these demons in order for them to go find the special flower that can grant him powers to, you know, suppress the sun and be actually able to go out in the daytime. Because, you know, the second they touch the sun, they disintegrate, they die. So he assembles this group of upper ranked demons to, you know, carry out the mission. All right, we got to go find this flower, right? So again, we finally get to meet the upper rank one, which looks like a badass. We don't really get to see him much, doesn't have much screen time.
No, but there is a resemblance a little bit to a very main character that we know and love.
He looks like Tanjiro.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. And then we meet upper rank 2, which was the former upper rank 6. He's the one who gave the powers to the siblings that we saw in season 2.
Who was that?
The upper rank 2. Remember the guy with the gray hair, kind of cool
He gave
design?
the powers to the siblings?
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay.
But now come to find he's been promoted. So he must be strong.
Yeah.
Right? And then Akaza, number 3, who killed our boy Rengoku. Rest in peace, but
R.I.P.
you know. And then we have upper ranked 4, which is kind of this like weird, timid, like he's very scared and shy, and it seems like how is this guy powerful? He has this like huge like
I don't know. It's like a wart, but it's like an extra head growing out of his head.
It looks like a big boil or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah.
So you have that guy, which again I questioned his powers. I'm like, how is, you know, this guy strong? And then we have upper rank 5, which is a guy in a vase who is very How would you describe him?
He's kind of like a genie a little bit.
Right.
Kind of resembles a genie and has like a bunch of arms, got mouths for eyes.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy design. He had a cool design.
He did.
Sure. Yeah.
And he was super interested and like fascinated by art. Everything he did, he considered art, and like art's beautiful. Death is art. Like you know,
right.
Which it is still gruesome. This season is still gruesome.
Yeah,
you know, it's
no
still
doubt.
very gory, violent, which I love. But getting into the demons, a huge part of the story is, in my opinion, there was a huge lack of development for these demons.
Yeah.
Right? We get introduced to 2 demons. Again, 5 and 4 were in this season. And it seemed like they just got killed off almost immediately.
Way too easily.
Yeah, way too easily for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, also really fast, it seemed like, too.
Yeah.
Not a lot of character development. I didn't feel like I got to know them.
Exactly.
Like we were talking about the siblings, upper rank 6, right?
Yep.
They had a really good arc throughout the whole season in season 2, where you kind of like saw their animosity towards each other, you saw them fighting, you saw how they interact with each other, and you saw why that all is come together at the end. And like it was kind of like this beautiful moment at the end of season 2. And then season 3, you know, you go from that, and then season 3, I felt like I didn't get any backstory of upper ranks 5,
the base
demon. And then upper rank 4, we got a tiny bit to his backstory, but it wasn't anything to like feel bad for the guy. You know, it just kind of added to him being a bad guy. You know, it didn't really give him any redeeming qualities.
No, absolutely.
So yeah, I don't know, it felt a little, it definitely fell off in that aspect for me.
I feel like I was robbed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because the beautiful thing about this show is, as gory, as violent as it is, it does promote this idea that all these villains are really just tragedies, because they were once humans who have had really bad, lives. They've lived terrible lives, either poverty, violence, drugs, gangs, and like their only way out really was to become demons, right? So as you see Tanjiro kind of exterminate these demons, you really see the backstory, and you really connect to these demons. Like, dude, you guys were humans, and Tanjiro sees that too, and he like apologizes for killing them too. There's points where he's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I wish this could be different. And that really touches you. There's that emotional core, right? So where was that?
It was gone, bro. It literally wasn't there, which you have 2 demons. And like, these are both upper rank demons. So they're like the most powerful of the most powerful. You want to know about these people because they're just they're the main demons. So you want to know as much as you can about them. And that the demon backstories to me always kind of hit the hardest, because they're so traumatic, and just all these humans have had like really upsetting lives, so it always hits a little bit like pretty hard when they die. But these ones, it was like in one ear out the other kind of thing with them. It seemed like very not memorable to me.
Not memorable. And another thing is, why do they seem so weak, right?
Yeah.
So like, we get introduced to 2 new Hashiras, right? So we get Muichiro, which is the Mist Hashira. And then we get the Love Hashira, which I
can look up her name.
Look her up. Yeah. So we get introduced to both of these new Hashiras, and initially what I'm curious about is the ranking of the actual Hashiras. We haven't really seen that. I'm sure there is a rank, who's the weakest and who's the strongest Hashira. But it definitely made it seem, they made the point, where both Muichiro and then the Love Hashira are definitely stronger than, like, let's say Tengen or Rengoku. Because there's something interesting that happens to these 2 Hashiras in the form of kind of a mark. You know what I'm saying? So Muichiro gets this like cool mark, like on his
kind of like fangs,
right? Kind of, which significantly boosts his power, whether it be his breathing technique or his physical prowess or whatever, movement, stuff like that. And same with did you get her name?
It's Mitsuri.
Okay, Mitsuri. So, and then she also gets a mark, right? So these marks that haven't really been explained yet, which is also similar to Tanjiro's mark that you can kind of see grow sometimes when he's in battle, really adds this level of kind of power. Right. So
kind of mystery too.
And correct. Because we don't know what they can be about. Is this something you gain? Is
Right.
this something that is, worked upon? But so these two Hashiras go and it seems like defeat these demons super easily. There was a point where the Miss Hashira was trapped in this bubble. He was fighting the vase guy, upper 5. And it seemed like maybe he was going to die.
Yeah.
He had spikes through him. He was losing his breath. And then eventually there's that little kid who grants, which is a super cool scene. He grants his breath to him so he can get that extra little boost. That was super sick.
That was cool.
And then it kills him.
Yep.
It seemed
immediately.
The upper 5 transformed into this weird snake slimy creature.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because he dies immediately.
So I feel like the action did kind of fall off maybe a little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the upper ranked 4, it seems like Mitsuri just again with her cool little baton sword,
which was a cool design.
It was.
Yeah.
And she seems super strong in herself. We see her backstory too. We see both their backstories, which we'll touch upon. But yeah, she kills him off too immediately.
Yeah. The stakes, bro. The stakes just didn't feel like they were there as much.
Not really.
Like you really had an all is lost feeling in season 2. I never really felt that. I did feel that at some point in season 3, but it felt super phoned into me, which we can talk about in a little bit. But there was it didn't hit as hard for me, definitely.
No, not really. And for me, the point where I felt like all was lost was spoilers. This whole thing has been kind of spoiled a little bit already. But towards the very end with Nezuko, where the sun is finally coming up, it's sunrise. The other demon hasn't been killed yet. The shy one, number 4. So now Tanjiro has to make a decision. Do I go over to my sister who's exposed out in the area, no shade? Or do I go and stop this demon who's on his last breath but is about to kill these kids?
Yeah.
There was kind of that decision, which I did like.
Yeah.
I did find that cool. But then he his sister sacrifices herself by because he does run over to Nezuko.
Yeah.
Kicks him
to
off.
Protect her.
And he's like, all right, I got to do this. He's crying. But then what happens?
Nezuko is immune to the sunlight.
Great. Amazing.
Yeah.
Which I get it. However, just the way they presented it felt so phoned in. It felt cheap.
Yeah. Dude, that whole sequence when Tanjiro has to make that decision to either save Nezuko from the sunlight or to save some of these civilians that are getting chased by the demon. I'm just like, why are we here in this situation?
Yeah.
It felt so I don't want to say it felt stupid, but it almost felt stupid to me.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm like, why is Nezuko knows not to be in the light, one thing.
Yeah.
It's just everything just kind of, there's all these people sitting at the top of the mountain that could help him out. Where's Love Hashira? Where's Miss Hashira? So it's kind of I don't know, that last little reach to have this tension and this all is lost kind of feeling just felt so it didn't build up to that ever. And you knew what was going to happen because Nezuko hadn't been in the season much that season. So you can't, at least me, I had this idea that Nezuko wasn't going to die.
Okay.
I didn't know how, but it was, and then come and find out no one really understands how it just happened.
Oh my God, she's alive.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Oh my God. They were celebrating and stuff. Then Nezuko ended up even speaking a little.
Oh,
so
yeah.
she kind of gained some of her more human, I guess, personality. But again, as much as I hated that, it makes sense because it now sets up to what Muzan is trying to go to. We now finally get to see a little of his backstory and his motives, right? Muzan wants to be immune to the sun. And now he sees that, and he refers to her as the one who is immune or something. Now he knows I don't need these other demons. I don't need these upper ranks. I know who's immune, and I'm gonna go get her. Yeah. So I get it.
Yeah, I understand. Too. And I think after we finished watching it, not in the moment anymore, in the grand scheme of Demon Slayer, I see where it all fit. I think it was the presentation that kind of was not my favorite, but
could be.
I see in the grand scheme of the story how it all ties together, and I like where it's going. But yeah, maybe the presentation of it was just a little forced for me.
Exactly. So yeah, a lot of new characters were introduced. Again, so we saw the new demons. We saw 2 new Hashiras. We get to see a little bit more of Genya. I think was the other guy.
Cool character.
Because keep in mind, we didn't see Zenitsu or Inosuke.
Yeah,
they
this whole
were
season.
absent.
Yeah.
Which I was like, what?
I know,
I
yeah.
actually was kind of, baffled.
Yeah.
You know, they're also main characters.
For sure.
But I'm sure they'll have their own arc.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But in place of them, we get Genya, which now we're presented with another element. He seems to have these demon powers, right? Where he kind of can regenerate. We see him get shot or like holes blown through him and like Swiss cheese, and he's good.
Yeah.
He's like, I ate that. It's all good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it seems like he can eat demons and kind of gain their power.
Yeah.
So now we're introduced to these new characters, which adds more layers. So I am very interested to find out more about them.
He seems like he could be one of my favorite characters, honestly.
And his brother is the Hashira.
That's right.
Yeah, his brother is the Hashira who actually stabbed Nezuko in season 1 through the box. Like, he sensed the demon and he just starts going at it,
Mean dude.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see the relationship between those two brothers. That'll be cool. And we got introduced to what was it? Tanjiro's main swordsmith. That super buff dude.
Dude, he's jacked.
He's jacked, bro. And there's a point where in the plot they find the super old ancient sword that was used in the back. I forgot the periods, in Japan.
Yeah.
But it was in one of the older periods in Japan.
Right. Yeah.
And now this guy's going ham on trying to restore it, right?
Yeah.
So he's like just focused in, and
he's
then
literally, people are like beating him up and he has like no regard for them. He's just so focused.
The demon, like upper 5, even starts getting pissed, like, bro, focus on me, dude. He starts slashing him, he's bleeding, but he's still going ham at this sword. So that was funny. I will admit the comedy was still there.
Oh yeah.
So it was fun.
Uh-huh.
So as much gripe as we had with it, it was a fun, entertaining season.
No, it's not like, it definitely was still good. I mean, Demon Slayer is always going to be good, I think. It's just in relation to the other stuff, maybe wasn't my favorite season. I still loved it though. I still liked it a lot though. So for sure.
I definitely rank season 2 at the top, then season 1, and then season 3.
Yeah, I'd say I have to put season 2 at top 2. Season 1 though, you got it. Like the world building of season 1 is pretty insane.
It is insane. Absolutely,
it's pretty insane. Yeah. So got to give it credit for that. But season 2, it gets deep and it gets a little goes the extra step, in season 2 for sure.
And so now I'm excited because I've talked to people without having them spoil stuff. They all mention like, oh, just wait. Like you thought season 3 was mid, which they also agree with. They're like, just wait until season 4 comes out. There's like crazy stuff that happens. Yeah. Like there's so much. Like I'm just excited. But now we gotta wait like what, 2 years maybe.
I know. Yeah, it's worth it for those though. Like it's hard because you kind of like forget a little bit, not forget, but like lose some details. But they're so good. They're so good.
So I'm excited for that to come out. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff that'll come out. There's a bunch of trailers that have come out.
I know you've been watching like some other animes.
There's been a lot of stuff coming out. Obviously Demon Slayer ended, which is kind of sad, so we're gonna have to wait a while. But what I'm super excited about, something that can keep me entertained while we wait, something you need to check out, which I really hope you do. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely a newer anime. Season 1 came out, I want to say like 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Something like that. And then after that, they came out with a movie, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, which is a prequel to season 1.
Yeah.
So season 2 just came out. I think as of this recording, it's on like episode 2. So it's kind of coming out weekly.
Okay, so it's in the middle of it.
Right. And it's supposed to be like a kind of like a 2 arc combination. So it's not like one arc and then season ends. It's going to be 2 separate arcs. So it's going to span a couple months in terms of releases.
It's going to be a long season.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Think about it as like maybe 2 seasons in one, kind of.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
So Jujutsu Kaisen, for those who don't know, and maybe I can give you a little backstory. So in this universe, in this world, there's a lot of negative energy. Like people have negative thoughts about like death or love or financial crisis, stuff that makes you feel negative and stuff.
Okay.
And that's like negative energy.
Okay.
They call it cursed energy.
Okay.
And this cursed energy, for example, like in hospitals, there's a lot of death. In school, there's a lot of stress, stuff like that, This negative energy, this cursed energy, then transforms into like physical monsters, like actual beings,
Yeah.
And depending on the energy, the negativity, it can either be weak, small little monsters. So like, I forgot what the grading is, or it could be super special grade cursed energy where it's like it could wipe out nations.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a cool concept.
Exactly. So now you have these sorcerers. They're called Jujutsu sorcerers, and they're basically trained to exorcise, like exorcisms.
Okay.
They're trained to exorcise these cursed energies. So you have to go to high school for it. It's called Jujutsu High School. Okay. It's in Tokyo. There's another high school. There's two high schools that train these students, and it's like a tough job. Like you have to train to, you know, get proficient in exercising, and it's super insane.
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't know. I don't want to go too much into it without spoiling.
So how do you get picked to be one of these exercisers or to do these exorcisms, or do you get signed up to be?
Right. So in this world, not too many people can see these curses, right? Mm-hmm. There are certain people who can actually physically see the curses, and so these people who can see them and stuff, they like either get recruited or they get kind of like what do you call it, like a reference, like you should come over and train and stuff.
So only special people can see them.
Correct. And those special people train to really hone their power.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like regular day people can't see it. So for example, let's say you're getting a coffee and then you die.
Okay.
Like you get your like throat sliced. No one can see what happened.
No,
like the person just
happens.
dies and they're like, oh my God. Yeah, literally.
That's what these entities do.
Yeah, so they're invisible to like,
so they'll kill people.
Oh yeah.
They'll kill people, destroy towns and stuff.
Exactly.
But it's just like invisible forces to a lot of people. Like just
exactly.
Like,
yeah, most people cannot see it, like the public, you know.
Okay.
And so so yeah, you go to this high school to hone your powers and stuff. And so the main character, his name's Itadori. Mm-hmm. He's got like this cool, like, you know, kind of fade on the sides with the pink hair. Super cool design.
Yeah.
He's just an ordinary high schooler.
Yeah.
You know, he's just doing his thing. He has like crazy physical abilities. Like he's a great runner. He's good at sports. He just has like the one up on every other student.
Okay. Yeah.
And there's a situation. I don't know if should I go into it. Just a little bit.
Is it spoiler related?
Yeah, there's a situation where he gets called up to now go into this high school because he is pretty much the main focus now of trying to stop one of the most crazy, like deadly curses known to man. Something that predates even almost everyone in that high school, even the principal, like the elders. So there's like this curse that's an ancient curse, you know, and it seems like he is the only one who can stop it.
Dang.
So now he's training at this high school, kind of introduced to all these other students, which the characters are crazy, bro. Like they're so dope. They all have their own separate powers, and it, you know, there's enough there to where everyone is so specific, and it seems like there's just so much depth to the power scaling.
Are the powers like related to exorcisms?
Right. So basically their powers are used to exorcise these demons to kill them off. So they disintegrate. They're no longer there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So everyone has different abilities to do so. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
And that's how, so the battles that go down, are they like actually battles, or like it's like battles?
Dude, it's crazy.
So the exorcisms are like battles kind of?
Yes. Yeah, you're literally fighting these monsters and all these different demons. Think about it like kind of like Demon Slayer. Yeah. For example, you know how like in season 1 there's all those different demons, they had different powers, they look different physical bodies, kind of like that. Okay. Basically, and they all have different powers, whatever. Gotcha. And like the super special grade ones that take like a super strong person to kill them off, they are like insane. They can literally, like I said, wipe out a nation. That's how crazy they are.
So what kind of threat does this almighty being that the main character is trying to fight, what kind of powers does he entail? Well, what makes him different?
Basically, if he were to actually come to life, let's say, right, and be like in its full form, there is only one person who can stop him, and even then they don't know, like it's not explained whether this person can actually stop him or not. So what they're trying to do is use the main character Itadori to kind of solve that issue without spoiling. He's trying to solve that issue of defeating him once and for all.
And this guy has the ability to like destroy the world, basically, kind of thing.
It seems like it. That's what they're kind of building up to, you know.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of world building in this one. It's just, you gotta watch it.
That's dope,
and like
dude.
I said, season 2
cool.
Yeah. So season 2 just came out, and what's cool about season 2 is it's also kind of a prequel to season 1, where now it's like, so you have like the masters or the teachers. Well, now season 2 is like getting a glimpse of how the teachers were when they were students. Which is super sick.
That's cool.
So you get to see kind of their life, their fellow classmates. The main teacher, you get to see his classmates, sick, which is cool.
I love backstory, dude.
Yes. So the world building, it's so crazy how they're doing the thing where they start with present time, now they're going back
Is
So
it cool how they do it? How they're doing it? Like
yeah, and it makes sense.
And it works.
It works. So
yeah.
it's definitely gonna like definitely add pieces to, like, for example, once you watch season 2, I feel like you're gonna be able to go back to season 1 and be like, oh, okay, this makes much more sense as to why they're here, why this is, the way it is.
That's cool.
So,
I love when pieces start like kind of fitting together just by getting backstory,
Exactly.
And not when this backstory that's just like explained in a monologue or something,
And so Jujutsu Kaisen right now is doing just a great job at
dope,
the storytelling aspect. Again, the visuals is sick. Like I wouldn't put it up there with Demon Slayer, but it's definitely like a notch down. So it's still amazing.
That's what's up.
So yeah, the animation. I think Mappa is animating this one, so you definitely got to check it out.
I'll definitely have to check it out.
Fight scenes are insane. The action's crazy. And the main character, the main teacher, his name's Gojo. The dude's different, bro.
Yeah.
He's just built different, bro. He's definitely up there in like favorite characters so far.
Ever in anime?
Out of any anime. He's just different.
That's cool. If you have an anime that has one of those characters, then they're doing a solid job.
Yeah, he's like the guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He is him.
He's him.
Timothy.
And yeah. He's got dogs in him.
That's what's up. Watch some trailers?
Yeah, let's watch some trailers. We'll be back.
You see, I'm something of a magician, inventor, and chocolate maker.
Indiana Jones?
So quiet up and listen down. Nope, scratch that. Reverse it.
Many people have come here to sell chocolate. They've all been crushed.
It's you, Willie.
Huh.
Huh?
Huh.
A double huh.
Give a pencil and paper.
Uh-huh.
I got an idea. Ladies and gentlemen of the Gallery Gourmet, my name is Willy Wonka. Mark my words, this is gonna be the greatest chocolate shop the world has ever seen. Oh, I don't think I want to hear that.
Too late. I've started dancing now. Once we've started, we can't stop.
All right. Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
Yep.
And now
played by Timothy Chalamet.
Your boy Timothy. Timbo. How Wonka became to be.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Origin story.
I kind of like it.
I don't mind it. Yeah.
What do you mean you don't mind it?
I don't know. I thought it was going to be dumb.
Okay.
Like making another Willy Wonka movie.
Yeah,
like,
but origin story.
But origin story, I mean, it's different. Mm-hmm. Like I thought it was going to be kind of the same thing we've seen from, Johnny Depp and who plays the first one? Is it Gene? Is it Gene something?
Let me look it up because that's very important. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to say it's Gene something, but yeah, played by Timothy Chalamet in this version called Wonka, coming out 2023 on Christmas. It gave me really a lot of Christmas vibes, honestly.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same thing. This will probably be a good Christmas film.
Yeah, it kind of like, it really reminded me of Willy Wonka meets like Polar Express kind of vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Gene Wilder.
Gene Wilder. Yeah, rest in peace, Gene Wilder. So Gene Wilder, the original, then Johnny Depp. And then we got Timothy Chalamet, who, to me, it kind of does seem like he captures the essence of Willy Wonka.
A younger Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Not established yet.
Yeah.
He wants to perfect his chocolate recipe infused with magic, right? And which will change the world.
Yeah. So, I mean, it looked a lot better than I expected it to.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, honestly, looks all right.
You have no reason to hate on the boy now.
I know I hate Timothy Chalamet, but I think he's a decent actor. He gets big roles though, like a lot of big roles. So he's an actor. He's a worker though. I've seen him take some hits on sets and stuff.
Dude, did you see that?
I got respect for the boy.
What was it where he got hit with that camera?
Yeah,
as he was walking out there filming.
I forget
that
what set that was on, but that man took a hit, bro.
He did.
So he didn't like make a big
he ate it.
fuss about it. He ate it. So
it
I got respect for Timothy for sure.
Yeah. So in this film, we're going to see the origins of Willy Wonka, right? We're going to see the motivations he has, which kind of seem like through his mom, maybe like a promise he made or whatever motivation he has there. We see the introductions of the Oompa Loompas, maybe where they came from, how they came to be. It seems like we saw in the trailer he was kind of in like a little capsule.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
Do you remember the origin story in the Johnny Depp version of how he found the Oompa Loompas?
How was it?
He like traveled to some jungle, like super like excluded, and was like, he was living with them for like years and eating their stuff. It was kind of a funny, like, it was kind of funny, but yeah, it looks like they might go a different way with the Oompa Loompas in this one.
Yeah. And so, we'll see how when he opens his first chocolate shop, right? Which then will lead into hopefully maybe future installments where we see the full-fledged factory of, you know, he gives out the golden tickets, stuff like that. So I'm actually kind of excited.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I kind of like where they're going with it. I like the vibe from that trailer for sure.
Very Christmassy, for sure. So yeah, you got some hot chocolate. Grab your loved one and watch some Wonka.
Watch Wonka.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm excited for this one.
Cool.
Apple?
Oh wow, Apple made
Yo.
this one.
No doubt you'll send the chaos in the streets. We must make an example, or France will fall.
I promise you brilliant successes.
Oh wow, Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott.
That's big.
I led the French victory at Toulon.
What is your name?
Napoleon.
Has the course of my life just changed?
This vermin has held the world hostage with his egotism and his lack of simple good manners.
All of Europe is uniting forces against me.
What's the outcome of this if you don't succeed?
Your Majesty, we are discovered. Good. I'm the first to admit when I make a mistake. I simply never do.
Thanksgiving. Wow, okay.
Dang.
Another holiday film. Real quick, my question is, well, not really a question, just more of a comment. This is basically just Joker if he was French.
yeah.
No, I'm just playing. Wow, okay, so Napoleon, famous, Napoleon Bonaparte. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
Bonaparte.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Late 1700s timepiece. I'm curious to see how historically accurate this will be.
You already know more than I know.
Right. Well, I wish my boy Connor was here to give the history lesson. He's really good with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just cinematically, what would you think?
It looks beautiful.
That
dude.
looks crazy.
It looks like a good, well shot movie. Like I hadn't seen any of the trailer before this, and it looked really good to me. It looked intense.
And directed by who?
Ridley Scott.
That's
dude.
crazy.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
I didn't realize. So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
that got me pretty hyped for that movie, honestly.
Right. So now you got Napoleon, leader of the French army. French. Just empire.
Yeah.
Taking on kind of his quest for total world conquest, really, starting in Europe. We saw shots of him in Egypt, literally launching cannons at the pyramids.
I wonder if that actually happened. That's crazy.
I can't say. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know.
It's been so long.
That's crazy visuals, though.
That was insane.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited. This just looks like such a dark and grim film.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like very raw.
Yeah, kind of Oppenheimer. Like feels kind of a little bit, like just dread a little bit.
Yeah,
kind of.
And you got Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix as Napoleon Bonaparte. So that should be.
That's crazy, and it's releasing Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I know, huh? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what the connection is there.
I don't know either. Yeah, I don't know either. That is kind of interesting to release on Thanksgiving, but either way, looks pretty intense and good. Like, I'm kind of excited to see that one. The cinematography looked insane on that.
Yeah, but it said Apple Film, Apple is now starting to fund films and do their own market.
They've made some movies.
Have they?
They had a movie. I mean, they've had quite a few movies. I remember an A24 documentary that they were a part of.
Okay.
But I don't know how if they produce them or if they market them. I don't know what they're, because it also says Sony. Well, I don't know if that's.
I don't know. Maybe that's just. I don't know. Sony Picture Entertainment, which is the channel we watched it from, but and then Paramount, right?
Yeah. So lots going on, but it looks like it's gonna be a good movie. Like it looks intense and like Joaquin Phoenix says that's a good good cast.
Oh
right
yeah,
there
that's
for
I guess
sure.
that's a good Napoleon. I don't know who else would
No.
play Napoleon.
Literally,
You know?
like the thumbnail makes it look like he is Napoleon. So.
He is Napoleon, and he takes over the throne.
Yeah.
You know, by force. He's a tyrant, but I guess the French people loved him.
Yeah, looks dark, looks kind of like grim.
Yeah.
Looks good to me.
Yeah.
I that got me pretty hyped for that movie.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna have to watch this one.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm excited
for
for that one.
For sure.
20 years ago, the world fell to shit. Like me, delivering cargo from one walled city to another. And that's where the cars and guns come in.
Give me the package, man!
Welcome to New San Francisco. I want to hire you. Pick up a package, bring it back. I can make your every wish come true. So, John.
All right, Evelyn, let's deliver this package. It's rude not to introduce yourself before pulling a gun on someone.
I have no idea what's out east. Even the people trying to bring the law back are dangerous.
This is our land. These are our roads.
And they're gonna have to go through Vegas.
I've never seen anyone cut off a human head and catch it as good as that. This never happened to me before. Really? Yeah. Oh, man.
Okay.
Okay.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
So it's Peacock original show series.
Yep.
Okay. Coming out when?
I don't know when it comes out. I'm not 100%
Okay.
sure. But Twisted Metal is a PlayStation series. Did you play the games?
I might have. PlayStation 2, I vividly remember for sure.
Okay. That one is Twisted. I think the one that came out for that, there might have been a few, but the one that I played, and I got it when I was like 8 or 9 years old or something, like super young.
Yeah.
From like, it was a game crazy that was attached to like a Blockbuster. My mom let me get it when I was super young.
That's crazy.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out, Mom.
But that game, like, I love that game, dude. It was such a cool game, and just like the storylines were so cool in it too.
So what's the premise? Just catch me up here.
So what it is, it actually all kind of takes place in this dude's head. The dude's main character is Calypso, and so he's kind of running this show. And what it is all these people that come from all these dark pasts and all kind of have like these just really crooked pasts, or they just are, twisted in some way, really.
Sure.
So they all come to this competition that Calypso puts on. Again, this is all in Calypso's head. That's a key part that isn't a part of this show, it seems. But so it's all taking place in Calypso's head, and they all basically do a demolition derby with each other, fighting each other to win a prize, which the prize is Calypso will grant you any wish that you want at the end of the derby. You can wish for anything, but every time he grants a wish, he usually twists it in some way so you don't really get what you want.
Of course.
So that's kind of what the premise of the game was, and it was one of my favorite games growing up. I just love the lore of it, kind of.
For sure. So what does this one seem like to you? Where's this one going?
So when the first trailer for this dropped, I watched it and I was like super disappointed, bro.
Were you?
It just didn't seem like it captured the vibe.
Okay.
With Anthony, I like Anthony Mackie as an actor, but
absolutely.
A thing with the games is like most of the characters that are playable are very dark, grim characters. Like there's like almost a horror element to them, I guess.
Yeah.
There are playable characters that are just like a cop or something. Like you can play as some more generic, I guess, characters.
Yeah.
But a lot of the cooler ones to me kind of have like these like different aesthetics to them. Like for example, Sweet Tooth, who is displayed in the trailer. His whole thing, there's a bunch of different storylines in all the different games, but a lot of times there's a revenge storyline where he's trying to find someone that did something to him, or he even like wants to kill Calypso in one of the games. So a lot of it goes back to Calypso, which is not really represented in the show. To me, it seems like the show is Anthony Mackie is a character that tries to go from these blocked off cities to cities, and in between these cities there's like a lot of crime that goes on and stuff. They're not really protected, so like transporting goods from place to place is kind of sketchy. and you kind of have to fight your way through it.
For sure.
It works. I think it works better for that, for a show.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that Anthony Mackie seemed like such a generic character. Like he didn't really have like a lot of these characters have scars all over them, or like there's very like dark aspects to them a lot of times. But to me, this new trailer kind of like definitely made me more excited. The humor kind of seemed funny.
Okay.
Sweet Tooth, he seems like he's gonna be a rendition of the character that I like.
So which one was Sweet Tooth again?
He's the clown character.
Okay, I see. Yep.
Yeah. So, and a lot of the times with like the storylines in the games, there isn't a full fleshed out storyline. So you kind of have like this this property that you could kind of take in a lot of different directions.
Yeah.
And I think based off of this trailer, I'm excited to see what they do with it. I'm excited to see where they go with it.
So what is one thing or maybe a couple things that you hope will be represented in the show from the game?
Yeah, so I definitely like the car fighting aspects, because another aspect aside from the characters having cool designs in the show, the vehicles got really cool designs that are all pimped out with guns and like got all these kind of Mad Max.
Exactly, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, kind of like that vibe. So I hope they represent like the derbies and the fighting with the cars well, because to me it kind of seemed like a lot of them were pulling out guns like on the ground and kind of doing, ground fighting. But I hope that the car derby fighting aspect is still captured and like dope, But another thing I would say too is like the backstories of the characters, because that was probably one of the coolest things about Twisted Metal Black to me, which is the only one I've played, but I loved it growing up. I think the way they presented their stories in that game and like the delivery was really cool. Like it's always stuck with me. Like ever since I was a kid, I haven't really seen anything like it still.
Okay.
So I hope that they kind of have like cool ways to show backstories or cool ways to show depth to the characters, and they don't feel very generic. Yeah.
I don't know if this show will have more of its own kind of feel or if it will have a video game type feel, kind of like Last of Us, in some sections. So I'm curious to see.
I wonder too, because like I said, the whole object of the game is to win this derby to get your wish granted by Calypso, but the derby doesn't really seem like an aspect to this. It really just seems like the derby aspect is survival in this game or in this show. So that's a little different, because there is a goal in the game. Like you're trying to win to get your wish granted.
Yeah.
I don't know if that will translate to the show at all.
Yeah.
We'll see. But that is always like, that's the twisted part of it. Like he always twists the wish. Wish, you know what I mean? So we'll see.
Was there any Calypso, right? There was no any imagery in there, or maybe some kind of hint?
I didn't see any. I saw on the cast that someone was labeled as Calypso. It said Will Arnett was Calypso and Sweet Tooth's voice. So maybe there is a rendition of Calypso. It would be hard for me to see a show without him, Twisted Metal show without him. But we'll see. We'll see what direction they go with it. I'm pretty curious to see what they do with it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe this will set up kind of a whole derby, sequel where, once they introduce all these characters, then there's that twist where now everyone has to go into this derby to get that wish. Or
I hope so, because I think the derby aspect of it is kind of like a cool aspect.
No,
like
absolutely.
Where you have all the cars in one area just like fighting, you know what I mean? So we'll see what they do. I hope that is the case.
Yeah,
that's
that would
cool
be
idea.
sick. And I am excited actually to see the different model cars and how they add their own spin to it. That'd be super sick.
The design is always like a really cool aspect of those games. So translating that to the screen will be fun to see for me for sure, dude. I'm kind of excited for. I wasn't excited from the first trailer.
Yeah,
this one got me kind of hyped for sure.
Yeah. All right, well, cool. Shout out to them.
Yeah, Twisted Metal.
That's a good one.
Yes, sir.
I'm actually pretty enticed by all of those trailers we watched.
Yeah,
Wonka, Twisted Metal, Napoleon, and so I mean, there's just so many projects like we've mentioned already that are coming out this year. A lot of blockbusters. Just the whole year is filled with
seriously super filled with blockbusters. It's been crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, one thing that is a little frightening, is like this whole Writers Guild strike that's going on that actors are now kind of taking part in Hollywood. There's just a huge dispute disagreement with studios about pay, about like residuals, about AI stuff, you know, security of jobs that, you know, is so like the guilds and like the actors and writers are striking right now as we speak. About all that. They just haven't come to an agreement. Studios haven't, you know, come into good contracts with them. So who knows how long this can take and how it could affect.
It's already affected some productions. For example, Deadpool 3.
Yeah, which is kind of sad because, you know, I don't know how exactly it'll affect it, whether it be creatively. Obviously, it'll probably, you know, prolong the release date, you know. It'll probably be pushed back to whenever, which it's something that can't be helped, you know. They're trying to fight for what they need.
It's it definitely is a serious thing because like we saw during the Oppenheimer preview or premiere. They walked out
That's
after
crazy.
They heard the news. So.
Matt Damon, Cillian Murphy. Is that how do you pronounce it? Cillian Murphy?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I hope so. Please don't come at me. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But yeah, they walked out of that Thursday night premiere. But yeah, they're taking this serious.
They're taking it serious. So it's definitely, I guess, it's not a joke. Like they are not happy. The writers are not happy, and it has to do with AI. Is a part of it.
And just because I know we've used AI a little, and the things you can do with it is actually insane. Like literally, and the reason I get it with the whole writers, like literally, you can type in, write me a script about, and then you add your variables X, Y, and Z. You know, plug in certain things, and it'll just. Not to perfection, but it'll flesh out a story.
It's a great starter for things, kind of like it can get the ball rolling on a lot of things. And I see a lot of ways it can be used in a good way.
Absolutely.
But for things like this, where it starts taking away jobs and creativity a little bit, that's where it starts to kind of push the line a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
Because like studios can be like, hey, AI can do this just as good as you. Like, we don't need to pay you. You know what I'm saying? So that is definitely something that it just... It's definitely scary for those who have the jobs, right?
Yeah.
You lose your job over this new technology that's coming out that is now more cost efficient. So you don't got to pay labor, stuff like that. You take away the creativity from the people who've studied, who've gone to school, who have the experience of writing, you know, the actors included.
Yeah. So it makes sense for them to be upset. And if they're on top of that, if they're losing jobs and the jobs they get, they're not getting paid enough. I mean... at some point you do gotta say something, so
it makes sense.
It makes sense, definitely.
So I wonder how this will impact like projects moving forward, right? Like obviously we already have Oppenheimer, we have Barbie, stuff like that, but like for future projects, like
yeah, it is a little scary, like because you just don't know how long it will go on for. You don't know what kind of agreement they can come to, or what, you know, what it will all amount to, really. So it's kind of like a waiting game, it seems like, a little bit.
And with like AI, who knows how developed it can get? Like we're just seeing the beginning of it, and already it's providing so much.
It's insane, dude. It's pretty insane.
The second you can use AI to literally eliminate production, imagine that would be insane.
You see, I'll always like AI in the fact of being a helper.
Yes, a tool.
You know, I never wanted to ever take away what we do. You know what I mean?
Replace.
Yeah. So, that has always been like a conversation and scary thought about AI that I've had. It's just that it does have the ability to possibly do that for some companies that are willing to go that way.
Yeah.
I just hope people see the advantage of having actual people, you know?
For sure. For sure. So yeah, with all that going on, again, it's halted projects such as Deadpool 3, which I'm really excited about. We saw pictures that just came out with like Wolverine, Hugh Jackman in his new suit, comic book accurate, right? He's got like the yellow with the kind of, it's got like wings on him and the X belt.
Yeah.
And I even saw one where he was wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
With like really? You know. So that was super sick. And I don't know if you saw other pictures. Deadpool and Wolverine were fighting next to like what was that logo? That Fox? Was it a Fox logo? Who made the original X-Men? What studio was that?
I don't know who it was, to be honest.
I think 20th Century Fox.
Oh, was it?
They were fighting next to like an abandoned, destroyed 20th Century, so breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So that was super cool. But Deadpool 3 again. Who knows? You know, the status on what can happen there.
Yeah, that and other movies to come out. It will hopefully like productions don't take other routes and they're cool with just delaying for a little bit instead of just like phoning some some way of getting it done in.
Yeah.
Especially with Deadpool 3, I think they will take the time. Obviously, they take their time on those movies.
Yeah, they do.
You don't get a Deadpool 3 or a Deadpool movie all that often. So, but with other ones, yeah, I could see some people starting to cut corners just because they don't. I hope that's not the case.
But that's the thing, because with the AI, it's quicker. Again, cost efficient. You don't have to hire people, pay people. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they're like misusing in a way, you know, to the point where now you're replacing these people who need the jobs, right? So
yeah, it's sad, and hopefully this strike kind of brings to their attention that like, hey, we gotta pay our people. You know? Yeah. I mean, Hollywood. People are always saying Hollywood is a very shady business.
I know, bro. I know.
I'm glad we're not over there, bro.
Did you ever see? Just side note, Tom Holland speaking about Hollywood.
I did. Yeah. I just watched his podcast recently. He had some tidbits that he's not a fan of the industry. Yeah. He's a part of the industry, but he's not a fan of the industry. And yeah, hopefully, I think Hollywood has very much been set in its ways for a long time. So there's a foundation of maybe corruptness. Yeah. That is starting to kind of hopefully fizzle away. Yeah. Because a lot of people are finally like starting to talk, you know? And this Writers Guild is just another example of that, I think.
Yeah, which is good, you know, unify and get what you deserve.
Yeah.
Really. So hopefully it doesn't, you know, hopefully they can come to an agreement. Hopefully more productions don't come to a halt. And then eventually all these cool projects that are going to come out can actually come to fruition. For example, like Barbie, Oppenheimer, you know, Mission Impossible, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, stuff like that. Yeah. We're excited to see these things, you know.
Yeah, lots of good stuff.
Lots of good stuff to come out, and we're hoping, you know, with the conclusion of this year, next year there'll be even more movies, and good movies. You know?
Yeah, definitely. So, maybe we'll stray away from blockbusters next year and go into some new material, maybe. Which I mean, it's needed, honestly. Yeah, we need something new. We need better horror films, bro. Dude, we need good scary movies. Talk to me. That one's coming out soon. That's That's an A24 one coming out by Raka Raka. Okay. Which was a YouTube channel I used to watch back in the day. That one is, I think I heard good things about that one. Really? Is it out? It's not out yet. Okay. It's coming out soon though, like end of this month. So we'll be touching upon that one for sure. No, for sure, absolutely. But yeah, I agree. Horror movies have kind of like hit a wall a little bit. Dude, it's been hitting a wall for a while. Yeah. So now like there's a new Insidious coming out. I think it's already out at the time of this recording. Heard mixed reviews on it. Yeah. And I liked the original Insidious. You know. Yeah. So I guess we'll see what other projects we get. It's time for some new stuff. Yeah, it definitely Stop revamping the old stuff, bring in some new things. I don't want to see Fast and Furious 18, bro. Yeah, like, I'm Fast and Furious 205. Yeah, literally, like I'm sick of it, bro. It's all about family. Dude, I get it. 206. That's cool. I love family too, bro. 6 movies later. Go do something else. Like I get it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys being here.